Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 366 of the RV Podcast.
And this week, you're going to hear from a couple who have 6 kids, and they're going to travel the country in a double-decker bus.
A double-decker bus that they turned into an RV.
Welcome, fellow travelers. It's time for another episode of the RV Podcast.
Answering your questions, sharing tips, suggesting great trips and off-the-beaten-path adventures, and always staying on top of the RV lifestyle news you need to know about with great interviews and inside industry information.
Here's your hosts, award-winning journalists Mike and Jennifer Wendland.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland. This is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Michael.
And here we are. Time for another RV podcast and fun interview today. Can you imagine traveling the country with 6 kids, 6 very young kids?
And a double-decker bus converted into an RV?
Yep. We interviewed this couple literally on the side of the road as the mom was fixing some sandwiches for the kids. They were in the back of a van that they also have. And what an adventure they're about to have. You're going to love meeting this couple. They're coming up in just a couple of minutes in the interview of the week. But it's hard enough, you and me and Bo. Can you imagine with 6 kids?
Oh, that has to be a set of flexible parents. Having 6 children is a challenge right there, and what an adventure.
We have had so much fun interviewing different groups of RVers, from solos to families to seniors, and you'll be hearing lots more interviews over the next several weeks about, from different groups of RVers. Every RVer we talk to has a story to tell, and that's just so much fun, isn't it?
It is. It's how everybody enjoys what they want to do.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of you, if you have a story that you think we should tell, or if you know somebody that you think we should profile for an interview, or you just have a comment or a question you'd like us to talk about on the podcast, the best way to reach us is just go to an email and send it to Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. We love getting your emails. We are about ready to take off ourselves on a trip, but before we do, I love going through some of this email that we got. We'll tell you about that in a second. Here's one that came from Kathleen Bartell, and she writes, "Hey, Mike and Jen, we are Florida people, and we're kind of used to weird people, but we thought we would share this. We see a lot of strange things. This is a new wrinkle. While enjoying our e-bikes on the beautiful scenic bike trail at Santos Trailhead Campground near Ocala, Florida, we returned to our site to see a new neighbor just across the way." And she sent us a picture, and she says, "As you can see, it's a rather large boat. And yes, it was plugged into the electric at the campground, and yes, it was being used as a camper.
Why not?
I've seen lots of quirky sleeping quarters at the state campgrounds, but this is a first for me. I guess a true Floridian learns to enjoy his boat on land and sea. Thanks for what you do. We'll keep watching." That's from Kathy and Steve Bartle. Thank you, Kathy. They're from Tampa, and they were camping in Ocala, and they sent us that.
I mean, why not use a boat
I don't know.
as your camper?
Yeah, most of them. A boat like that size, you could sleep below. So
Yeah.
There you go. Boat, RV, what's the difference?
Right.
Except, what do they say? A boat is just it's like a hole that you just keep pouring money in that never goes away. But I think they can say that about an RV too.
They can.
They can. Well, we are about ready to load up our RV, and we're off for a 2-week trip. And we're excited about it. The eventual destination is Natchez, Mississippi, and a meetup with all of our RV Lifestyle Facebook supporters and our YouTube members who are part of our members community. And we're going to spend several days there camping out and having meals together and hanging out together and enjoying all the stuff to see in Natchez. It's really a very cool city. We visited it earlier this year when we did the Natchez Trace, which we'll be traveling now in the next couple of days again. This time we'll be going south instead of north. And we just really liked it. But we're also going to stop in Middle Tennessee. And I'm excited about this, very curious. Do you remember back in the early summer we did a story about this trend, this new trend for owning your own campsite. And we visited a place called the Landings. Met some interesting people down there. They had oversized lots. I mean, like 2/3 the size bigger than the normal RV lot. And we really enjoyed meeting them. Well, we're going to see how that's progressed. But that same company is developing a huge tract of mountaintop land, and they're targeting it for RVers. And these are parcels that are from 5 acres to over 100 acres. So we, since we're going right past there on the way to Mississippi, we're going to stop and tour that and see what that's like. So we'll have actually a video for that. But they are also one of our sponsors, and so we'll take a break and we'll come back with the interview of the week. But here is notice about that development that we're going to visit, and a special date. I think it's October 30th for a special tour of it that they're going to have for all RVers. So check this out. There is a big event coming up just west of Nashville, Tennessee for RVers on October 30th. Tennessee Land and Lakes is selling off a 1,500-acre estate known as the Woodlands at Buffalo River in large acreage properties from 5 to 126-acre parcels. Unlike most properties, these are virtually unrestricted, allowing year-round RV living in an incredibly natural setting. It's like owning your own state park. Your property, your way. There's high-speed fiber optic internet available, wooded trails and big views surrounded by the most popular destination spots in Tennessee, like Nashville, Kentucky Lake, and the Buffalo River. The pricing is phenomenal for this area. 6 acres, only $69,900. 20 acres, $89,900. 35 acres, only $149,900. There's even great financing. Take a video tour, get the details on the website myrvland.com.
Welcome back to the RV Interview of the Week.
And this week, our special guests are Dane and Dina Irelys and their 6 kids.
They're known as the Double-Decker Travelers.
Yeah, and they have bought, as you'll hear, an old tour bus, double-decker, which they're turning into a double-decker RV. And it's a big project. It's taken a little longer than they wished, but they're still traveling. They're just all 6 kids, and mom and dad are in a van, and we caught up with them on the side of the road, I believe somewhere in New Mexico. And here's their interview. Okay, the Irelys joined us now from the road, and this is kind of like one of those rare family moments because Dina, you're feeding the kids right now. Hey, kids, wave at the camera, everybody. They can't hear us, so tell them to wave.
Wave hi.
Yeah. So you got, I don't know how many of your 6 kids are back there. I see 3 sets of hands, so
all
that
6
is
of
great.
them are here. We didn't leave any of them out.
Are they all there? All right. Well, it's dark back there, but they're all eating lunch. So let's I get kind of an intro here with everybody, but let's have you guys tell everyone what you are doing and why you're known as the Double-Decker family.
Sure. Do you want to take it, or you want me to, babe?
You can take it.
So we're on the road. We're taking a 2-year road trip. We've got 6 kids, age range from 9 to 3 at the youngest. The youngest are twins. So we had 6 kids in 5 years planned, and we just decided last year, kind of early last year, around 4th of July, we wanted to do something pretty epic with them. We were on a road trip ourselves with the kids, and they all behaved really well. They did very, very well. So we decided, hey, why don't we just do this full time? That will be our epic adventure. And started looking into it. We looked into just a regular RVs, Class A's. And then we really looked into like schoolie conversions and things like that. Ultimately, what we found and settled on was a double-decker tour bus that we're currently having converted into our roaming tiny home.
Now, a double-decker bus is not really a tiny home. That's going to be pretty big. We will show videos. We'll show some videos of it on our YouTube channel when with this
Sure.
podcast, and we'll put some pictures on our blog, and we'll link to. You have you're starting off with a YouTube channel, so as you get going, people are going to really be following it. We'll link to that. But this is pretty cool. A double-decker bus. Well, where does one find a double-decker bus, and what gave you the idea to convert it into a home on wheels?
Well, we had looked at schoolies quite a bit, and we were leaning towards the schoolie route. And so Dane was just looking at buses all over the internet, and we came across like a halfway converted double-decker bus.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, like, and I think it was just on like maybe like eBay or something like that we found it.
Yeah, so I mean, I found it on busforsale.com, and it would say halfway converted. It had been used. There's a tech company in San Francisco that used it like a hotel on wheels. They had already converted it to a hotel.
No, I was saying the partially converted one, the first double decker that we saw. We found one that was like
oh yes.
We found that one was like a partially converted one online, and we were like, that's it. That gives us enough square footage to have, because it was like we were either going to have to sacrifice our living space so our kids could have individual space, or it was like either or. We could either have individual space for our kids or living space. And we're like, oh, that would be great. So we started looking at double-decker buses.
Yeah, and then I found the one on Bus for Sale.
And yeah, we've seen them on eBay and Bus for Sale, and I think there was one other website.
ABC companies, because they make.
Who is doing this conversion for you?
So the company that's doing the conversion, it's a company based up in Ogden, Utah. They are called Apex Customs, and they specialized in like car restorations, and then started doing some school bus conversions. I think ours was like the second or third bus that they did at all. We're not.
How long has this process taken? And you're about ready to take off in it, but how long has it taken to get this done?
That's quite the question. We
dropped the bus off in October of last year.
We dropped the bus off in August of last year.
Oh, in August of last year.
Yeah. So August, we dropped off the bus. They started working on it in September, and we were supposed to have it in March. We're now 7 months over schedule, which is why we're on the road right now. We just decided, look, we're not going to let the bus delay our family adventure. So we decided, hey, just load up in the van, and we'll do typically so right now what we've been doing while we're waiting for the bus is like day trips, 3 6-hour drives where we can go out and come home in one day. Today we're actually, we're doing a 2-week trip right now. So this one's a little bit longer, and we're staying in hotels along the way, which is a whole nother matter.
With 6 kids. You guys road school the kids then, and we'll homeschool them right now, right?
Correct.
Tell us about your background. How can you going to be able to work from the road, or how are you going to finance such a epic trip like this?
So that we actually get that question quite a bit from anybody that follows us, and ultimately, I've worked with software startups for the last few years. We save pretty well. We're pretty frugal overall, so we saved pretty well, and ultimately had the funds to be able to buy the bus and pay for that conversion in cash, and now on the road, because with a software background, I'm building websites and apps and softwares. I'm working on a software for road schooling, as well as reciprocal program software I'm working on, things like that. So that's how we're financing it. Really, we sold everything. We sold our home. We sold everything that we owned, everything that we had, packed all down into a 5x10 U-Haul trailer before we took it all to Utah while we wait.
So your goal is, as I read one place, is to visit every national park.
Yeah. So I don't know if Dina wants to take this one.
So our goal really is to spend 2 weeks in every state, but we want to do the national parks. We're getting our kids a little endurance up. We, like an hour ago, just did a mile hike with no shade, and that's the longest that they had done with no shade. So we feel like we're getting their endurance up so that we're able to, by the end of the trip, be able to do some of those really cool hikes that are longer, but that everybody talks about in the national parks.
Yeah, I mean, we're fascinated by not just the national parks. We want to go to as many of those as possible and take the bus. You know, obviously the bus isn't going to be able to go in to the national parks. They all have size limits, and it's 43 feet long, so it's not going to fit anywhere. And so it's really been for us a matter of planning places outside of national and state parks where we can then unhook the van, and drive in and do the exploring parts. So we've got a lot of endurance training with the kids.
So you tow the van you're in now. Is that what you'll be towing?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a Ford Transit van.
A Ford Transit. I was just going to ask you that. And right now you're on the side of the road somewhere in New Mexico. You just came from the Balloon Festival, didn't you? Weren't you there?
Yeah. So this morning we were in Albuquerque at the Balloon Festival. We were on the road for a whole day. We came down from like the Salt Lake, Utah area. Drove down to Albuquerque, stopped a few places along the way, and then we decided for this far down for Albuquerque, we might as well hit some other New Mexico sites. So after the Balloon Festival, we went to Valley of Fire, which is just volcano stuff. I'm fascinated with volcanoes and lava rocks and stuff. So we were in Valley of Fire. I can actually still see Valley of Fire over here to my shoulder. I can see Valley of Fire, which we just left. And we're headed to White Sands tonight, and Carlsbad National Park and Guadalupe Mountains National Park tomorrow.
And when do you pick up the bus? And Dina, your thoughts about living in a double-decker bus?
Oh man, so we're not sure when we're gonna pick the bus. We're just crossing our fingers that it'll be done when we get back from our trip. I'm a little nervous about it because I'm a little bit of an anxious human, but actually being on the road is really calming to me. And I've enjoyed like minimalizing my house. I feel a lot better when we have less stuff. And I don't know, I'm excited about being on the bus. I'm sure it'll have a lot of learning curves and stuff like that. I have 6 kids, and so I have to feed them, and we have a little tiny oven, and that'll be an interesting learning experience.
Yeah, Dina is anxious and stressed, and she suffers from depression and anxiety, things like that. And so that was as we were preparing for this, we talked a lot about how that was going to play in the bus. And when we take a couple of these smaller road trips in the van, it was interesting to see her stress level. Now we came from a larger home. We came from an average 2,500 square foot home, right? But when we got in the van, we traveled, her stress levels just dropped, and the depression, things like that, totally dropped. Being out in nature, it's fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've done road trips my whole life, and with my family, we both come from large families, and so I've never spent a day in an RV. I've always done road trips like in a van. So I'm looking forward to it. A new adventure, something different.
And the kids, they have to be grooving on this. This is great. I mean, they're seeing new stuff all the time. How are they doing with it all?
They really enjoy it. They particularly love nature. And so that's kind of like why we want to go to the national parks, is because every time we get in nature, they just get so excited. They get a little grumpy when we try to explain science things for them. But they're like, oh, we don't want to hear about the educational stuff, Mom. We just want to go adventure.
Yeah, they do. We are trying to, everywhere we go, give them that education and tell them about what it is we're looking at. The Balloon Festival this morning is a great example. We tried to sit there and explain to them the science behind the hot air and what makes the balloons go up or what makes them go what direction with the winds and things. They don't really.
They just probably wanted to ride one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I got asked like maybe probably at least 50 or 60 times, Mom, can we go in one of those?
Yeah. So tell us, before we let you go and finish feeding the kids and get back on the road, tell us about this. You said it's a 2-year epic road trip, and you mentioned 2 weeks in every state. How
average.
how planned out are you?
Well, we were significantly planned out, and then we got bumped back so much. So
Yeah, I mean, so the bus build, we had kind of built it all around. It was supposed to be done in March, right? And we had then decided, okay, the kids get done with school in May. We'll just go pick up the bus in May. We'll hit the road, and we had it planned out starting in June 1st. Planned out everywhere we would go, following the weather pretty much, 70 degrees. But then the bus got delayed, and so kind of all our plans changed. We're just ultimately going to meet up to where we had planned. We had a massive map on our wall. I think it was a 4-foot by 5-foot map on the wall of our home that we had literally drawn out with dry erase markers our entire route. And so we were pretty planned out as far as the general areas that we want to go. We've researched, RV parks that'll fit our bus, all that kind of stuff, where we can go for cheapest. Like
yeah.
I said, we're frugal, so cheap is good.
Yeah, and we've done the research on. We've asked in lots of groups about like what boondocking spaces would fit ours, and like what harvest hose places would be able to fit our bus and things like that, and or accommodate us. And so we've done a lot of research on like where we can stay for sure.
Yep.
That's good.
So not perfectly planned out, but fairly well.
Well, we want to check in with you regularly as once you get your bus, and we'll again share your new YouTube channel with everybody because people will love following that. But I just applaud you for this. This is an epic trip. The kids will remember this forever, and you've got at least 2 years of travel planned, and I bet it's going to be a lot more than that. So.
Yeah,
fingers crossed for you.
Everybody tells us 2 years is not enough, and we'll end up loving it and staying on the road for a lot longer. So,
yeah, that's true.
That may be the case.
All right, Dana Dayton, the Double Decker family. Thanks for being on the podcast, and we'll be checking with you regularly to see how it goes. You should be getting the bus soon, so let us know.
That's right. Thanks so much, Mike. You guys take care.
Thank you. Bye.
That was so much fun. And Mike, aren't they starting their own YouTube channel?
Yeah, they only got a couple of videos up, but we'll put a link to it in the show notes, and you can kind of follow them along as they're about ready to get that double-decker bus. It's almost done, but it was fun. I really got a kick out of Dina making sandwiches for the kids. The kids are in the back seat and they're waving and totally nonplussed by it all.
I think this is going to be a fun YouTube channel to follow.
Yep, and we wish them great luck. We hope we run into them on the road. All right, we'll be back, and when we do, we've got the RV News of the Week coming up right after this. Fall is just around the corner, so it's time to start thinking about prepping for the off-season. And whether you own an RV, a travel trailer, or a camper, EmpireCovers.com is here to help you protect all your vehicles against Mother Nature. EmpireCovers.com offers high-quality, affordable covers that are engineered to protect. Every cover comes with a free multi-year warranty to guarantee that it remains durable over time. If you're not in need of a full cover, Empire has just launched a line of RV rooftop covers that keep the roof of your RV clean and protected from UV rays. Listeners can receive free shipping and 60% off the original price of their cover order. Visit EmpireCovers.com/RV Lifestyle or use the promo code RV60 at checkout. EmpireCovers.com. Protect what you love. When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-Born batteries. Battle-Born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battle-Born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-Born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battle-Born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium. Welcome back to the RV news of the week, and a sad story starting us off from Yellowstone.
Yeah, Yellowstone, one of our favorite places. There was a 20-year-old woman, her father, and her dog, and they went to go look at a hot spring.
Maiden's Grave Thermal Spring. It's not really well known, but it's a really neat little spring. You know, there's so many thermal
There are
things.
so many.
Yeah.
They're everywhere when you're out there. And the woman and her father got out, and when they opened that car door, as dogs often do, their dog bolted out. Well, naturally, the 20-year-old woman tried to rescue her dog, and she was burned from feet up to her shoulders, and her father ended up rescuing her from the springs, and they also got the dog out, but she needed to be taken for medical help.
She's in the Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center on their burn unit. Really bad birds. The dog did not make it.
No.
Yellowstone issued a press release, and they use this, the woman clearly didn't mean her dog to get out of the car, but it's a reminder of you got to keep your dogs under control at all times, particularly at Yellowstone. I think our dog, Bo,
Our dog is not being under control.
Yeah.
Our dog's coming out here.
Our dog is over here getting pets with us right now, and
Yeah, they get, just like us, your pets get sick of being in the vehicle, and they see that door opening, and they want to get out, and maybe you'd seen some animals earlier,
I don't
but
know. Sad story.
A very sad story, and we all need to learn from that so that history isn't repeated.
So the big news in the RV world this week was the Biden administration has restored boundaries at two of the big national monuments in Utah, and also one in New England. It's pretty controversial. The Bear's Ear Monument. It was originally created by President Barack Obama, and then the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. That was
Bill
created.
Clinton.
That was created by the Clinton administration.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Donald Trump came in as president, he scaled both of them back in size and restored. The Biden administration last week revoked that and restored them back to the original size. The thing I didn't realize is that 66% of the land in Utah is federal government owned.
That is absolutely incredible, 66%,
So
because
it's
that
off-
means there's no taxes
No
collected
taxes.
on that land.
And, and the people who own those monuments say that is land that it's very important to them, the indigenous people that have been around, the various tribes. Environmentalists have always wanted it protected, and of course ranchers would like to use it, but anyways, they're back to their original monument size, and that obviously they'll stay that way for the next few years at least. So a lot of controversy about that. I think you'll hear a lot.
This time of year, Halloween, the
Oh my
RV
gosh, yeah.
parks are absolutely jammed about this month, the month of October. It used to be, it was more just around Halloween, but now it's like 2-3 weeks, even sometimes the whole month. They have special Halloween celebrations.
And we've been to a number of them on Halloween. I think of the Kentucky Horse Park.
Yeah.
We have a story up on the RV Lifestyle Travel blog that we just put on about that, and it shows you. I mean, everybody was decorating their RVs. Many of the parks have parades, costume parades. They even have pet parades.
Yeah, they do.
Dressed in pets. But it was amazing some of the lengths people went to decorate their RVs with lights and projectors.
And I think a reason that has really caught on Halloween in the parks is because, like, when you live in the north, this is kind of like your last chance before you have to winterize if you don't go south.
It's the last hurrah. isn't
Last
it?
hurrah, and what a great way to take the kids and have fun.
Now we're off, and we're really looking forward to it. We think we're going to be able to follow the color all the way down to the Mississippi River. It's about peaked up where we live in Michigan. Our favorite UP, the leaves are all coming off. There was a lot of storms earlier in the week, and the leaves have dropped significantly. But the color line is moving down south very rapidly, so we're hoping to be able to pick that up over the next 2 weeks. But fall colors are just spectacular this year. I think it's the best time to go camping.
It's my favorite time to go camping. It's Bo's too, because it's not too hot and the bugs are gone. Absolutely perfect time to go camping.
Now, there is something called the Leaf Peeping app, and it is an app that shows you graphically where peak color can be found. And we will put a link to it in the description and the show notes, and you can go to it and take a look at that if you want to plan your trips. But by all means, get out there.
And fun this week, Winnebago just announced and received a lot of press coverage, a little tiny trailer.
It's really tiny. It is about the length of a pickup truck. And it's wide. It's not quite 8 feet wide. Its actual length is 16 feet. It's 10 feet tall.
Now that surprised me, the 10 feet tall.
Well, so you can get inside. Remember, you got to step up to get into it.
True.
You got to stand up.
True.
And it only weighs 2,700 pounds. So
that
you can.
is going to open up camping to so many people.
Yeah, and it's neat. They and the pictures we saw of it, they have a series of awnings, which kind of expands outdoor space. They say it gives you an extra 200 feet. But you cook in an outdoor kitchen. It does have the camper inside has a shower and a bathroom.
Some solar panels.
Yeah. And if you want to peek, we'll put a link to it in the show notes and the description below. But I think that's a trend. We saw it at the Hershey RV show, smaller RVs.
Smaller.
And now smaller camper trailers.
With tents. You can expand your space with tents. And if it's nice out, it's nice to be out.
Yeah. So
and less gas used, easier on your vehicle. Smaller vehicles can tow these vehicles. It's all good.
it is all good, isn't it?
It is all good.
All right, we come back. RV questions of the week, so stay with us. All RVers need specialized emergency transportation coverage to cover air and ground ambulances, return to home services, and vehicle return. You only have a 68% chance that those services will be completely covered by your major medical. The sad reality is that a lot of people believe they have that coverage, but it turns out most carriers that claim to cover air ambulances only cover you for a hospital-to-hospital transfer and offer no coverage to get you to the initial hospital in the first place. The truth is 68% of air ambulances are hospital-to-hospital. Here's a map of all the places in the U.S. that getting to the hospital in the golden hour is not possible without an air ambulance. And with an average cost of $52,481 for an air ambulance, why would you take the risk? Go to peaceofmindforrvs.com today and take a look at the true emergency transportation coverage they offer that covers it all. The coverage can save your life and your life savings. Check it out, peaceofmindforrvs.com. Jennifer and I are members, and we urge you to consider it too. peaceofmindforrvs.com. Have you had it with overbooked, overcrowded campgrounds? Then check out Harvest Hosts, where RVers can overnight for free at more than 2,400 wineries, farms, microbreweries, golf courses, and attractions. Harvest Host is a membership service for those with self-contained RVs looking for unique, beautiful, and peaceful overnight camping experiences across North America. When you become a member of Harvest Host, you can camp for free at all these places. Jennifer and I are Harvest Host members, and we've made so many great memories at Harvest Host locations. There's no charge for camping, and your Harvest Host membership fee is easily made up with just a couple of stays. Plus, you have awesome places to stay. If you use our special affiliate link of rvlifestyle.com/HH, you'll automatically get 15% off the cost of your membership. That's 15% off, but you must use the special link, rvlifestyle.com/HH.
Welcome back, and now it's time for the question of the week, and we have an email question from Tim Taylor. His question is, he was interested in the twin bed Wonder, which, as you know, has the twin beds, and then it has the big garage underneath. And his wife is concerned about that closet space. She's worried about if that's too hard to lift up that mattress, lift that up to get to your closet space.
We happen to have the Leisure Travel Vans Wonder rear twin bed. We've done a couple of big reviews. We'll put links to them in the show notes. You can read it. But yes, you do have to lift that bed up. Mm-hmm. And what do you think of that?
Well, you have to lift it up, or there's two doors that you can open a door to reach in and drop things off if you want to do that. You have space, and that's basically your space. It's a big
I mean,
closet
huge
area.
amount of space.
A lot of closet space. You also have some cabinets up high, but you do have to lift that up. And when we had ours for 2 weeks, I asked people when they would look at it, I said, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? And it didn't seem to bother any of them. But now, if you have shoulder problems, or if you think this is going to be a problem to you, then I can see why you're concerned. But it hasn't been a problem to us so far.
And I mean, it is. Maybe it's a slight inconvenience that if you got to lift it up and you got to reach under and pull it out, and then you got to put it back down again. But to have that amount of we chose the unit we have specifically because of that extra storage space it has. The Wonder has, so we're thrilled with ours.
And if I can say, we also changed our bedding. We have a beddie, which is something that hugs the mattress.
Kind of wraps around the mattress.
Wraps around it. But you could do that with anything.
And then you zip it. It makes up really good.
Because it would really make you cranky if your bed became a mess every time that you lift it up. But just a sleeping bag on top of your mattress could work too.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to, we tested 3 bedding solutions out with that Wonder, and we'll put a link to that video as well in the show notes for this episode, and you can follow those along. We also want to do a question from our Ask Us Anything series that we do. We do it every Sunday night. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and it simulcasts on YouTube and on Facebook. And for an hour, Jen and I answer your questions as you come in about different parts of the RV lifestyle. And here's one that we've seen a couple variations of this, so we think it has pretty general interest, and it has to do with running a business as you travel the RV, you travel around the country in your RV and stay at different campgrounds. A business where you sell or service things. Here's how we answered that question. Jeanette Wisniewski.
Do you know?
I think it's pronounced.
Do you know if you're allowed to run a business out of a park? They wouldn't want people coming and going to pick things up at your.
Not really.
Would you be using too much of their?
Well, they don't want. Most of them say no commercial business allowed. There's a lot of people who do little things, but no, not where you say unless the park gives you permission. Like, hey, I hear a lot. For example, I've had this question posed before from RV techs. Hey, we want to be a mobile RV tech. My husband's great at fixing stuff, and as we travel, we want to have a sign outside our RV in the parks. Hey, we'll fix your RV. Can we do that? And
I would say the answer is no.
It depends on the park, but most of them don't want you doing that. Some of them will say, "Well, sure, we'll tell people," because there's always somebody who needs some work done at a park, but you got to check with the parks what kind of a business it is the first thing they'll ask. And then now if you're an accountant and you're doing remote work from your RV, that's fine. But if it's a business where the public can come and do commerce with you at a park, I think that you're going to find problems. So certainly ask for their permission first.
All right, that question came from Ask Us Anything, and again, we do that every Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, so it's a lot of fun.
And we'd love to have you join us. Tune in. Any questions that you have whatsoever, and plus everybody has a lot of fun just kind of talking to each other, too.
Yeah.
Helping each other out, suggestions.
And if you have a question you'd like us to answer here in the podcast, just pick up your cell phone and do a selfie video of you asking us a question, and then send it to us at Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. All right, what do we got next?
Well, we're going to hear another hidden campground gem from Mark Koepp.
Thank you, Mike and Jen, and hello, everybody. Today we're going to go out to the East Coast and take a look at a hidden gem located in the state of Ohio. Specifically, the campground is located just kind of southwest of Pittsburgh and then east of Columbus, Ohio. It's called Leith Run Campground. This campground is located along the Ohio River in a rural area off of Highway 7. And the campground itself is a U.S. Forest Service campground located in a nice wooded setting with, as if you're on the East Coast, everything's green. It's beautiful. So really nice campground here. There is actually a swimming hole out on the Ohio River where you can go swim, kayak, and do all the stuff that you'd want to do out on the water. And as you can see from this video here, these campgrounds and campsites are paved roads, paved parking pads, and plenty large campsites. Being a U.S. Forest Service campground, if you have a handicap pass, you can get the 50% off, or the fees themselves are not too crazy high. This campground is a hidden gem, but it's also known by the locals in the area who enjoy going here. You can see there's a picnic bench. There are fire rings located at the campsites. And again, plenty of spacing between you and your neighbor campers. There's even pull-through sites available for you too. So our hidden gem this week is Leith Run Campground, located in the state of Ohio along the Ohio River. And if we get down here, we can actually take a look at some of the prettier sites that they have with views looking out over the Ohio River itself. Again, paved roads. You can see it's really clean. It does get wet here, so the pavement helps, so you're not going to be driving in a lot of mud or getting stuck in the mud. But I actually think that this site right here, I'm going to stop right there, and actually there's somebody hanging out at it. This site number 11, is the best site, in our opinion, at this location. You can see there's a few other back-end sites, but look at that angle that gentleman has in his campsite right there, checking out, looking at the water. Leith Run Campground, located in the state of Ohio. There'll be a link in the description below, and this has been another hidden gem campground for you to go discover and enjoy. Back to you, Mike and Jen.
All right, thanks to Mark for that report. Always good to see you, Mark. And you can find that campground right here. We'll put a link in the show notes for this episode. Just go to rvlifestyle.com and look under the podcast show notes. We'll link to that awesome camping that Mark just showed us. And you can do a search there and find out lots more from Mark's campgroundviews.com website. But that link to that Pennsylvania campground, we'll post it for you in the show notes and in the description below. All right, that's it. We're about ready to hit the road. We will be bringing you next week's podcast from multiple destinations as we travel south. So I can't wait to get going.
I can't either. Anxious.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Happy trails.